The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are simply that, opinions. All are presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. Sensitive topics are discussed. Discretion is advised.
Your back now. You guys step back.
I want to speak with my wife. Let's figure out.
Do you understand these rights I've explained to you?
Did parents try to kill their own teenage daughter over an arranged marriage? A big day in Washington state as opening statements are expected in the attempted honor killing trial. And 10 years later, and we're still pushing for answers in the unsolved killing of Stephen Smith. So what's the latest in the investigation? Well, the Smith family attorney is joining us on the program live. Plus, we're shining a spotlight on the woman convicted of killing her teenage son by starving him to death. Defendant Sha De Vanderarch wants a new trial. The prosecutor from the case joins us live this morning to weigh in. Also coming up this hour, Boone is back. Convicted killer Sarah Boone claiming to be having some issues with her appellate attorney. So will this tip the scales of justice? We'll talk about it. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statement. Good Monday morning to you. Welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We have planned a wonderful show for you. Lots of variety. So many big cases happening today. So let's get warmed up and ready to go for the big day ahead. Grab that cup of coffee. It's time for my opening statement. Where is baby Vanessa? Baby Vanessa Morales would be 6 years old if she's alive today. We know that her father, defendant Jose Morales, murdered baby Vanessa's mother, Christine Holloway. He is set to be sentenced today for that horrific crime. Christine was found beaten to death in the home that they all shared back in December of 2019. Baby Vanessa vanished at the exact same time and has never been seen or heard from since. So where is that beautiful little angel? Did somebody harm her? Sadly, investigators seem to be no further along with her case than they were 6 years ago. No arrests, no suspect identified. To me, what happened here with Jose Morales is almost like lightning striking in the same place twice. Think about it. To murder your girlfriend and then have your baby girl just vanish on the exact same day. What are the odds of those two horrible events happening independent from one another? Christine Holloway should be here today, and so should baby Vanessa. I hope that Christine gets justice today with his sentencing. And I hope and I pray that by the grace of God, someday we'll find baby Vanessa alive. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
Why are you afraid of her?
I'm afraid of her because I watched her kill the father of her kid. And Fred did the same thing to me.
In South Carolina, we've got Christopher Dontel looking at sentencing today after he pleaded guilty to charges in connection to the murder of his mistress's husband. It was him testifying against his former lover, Megan Jackson, you just saw in the coroner affair murder trial. Remember that one? Sentencing kicks off at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We'll go in there live together when it does. And in Florida, we've got the man accused of killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto due in court for a motions hearing today. This is for Stephen Stern's sex abuse case. That also starts up at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And in Connecticut, the case I was just talking about, convicted killer Jose Morales is going to be sentenced. It's expected to get underway at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We will take you there live as well. I told you it is a huge day with so many big cases headed to court. And right now, let's talk about another huge one that's set to kick off today. A shocking case out of the state of Washington. The attempted honor killing trial is set to begin in just a few short hours from now. A mother and a father are accused of trying to murder their teenage daughter. You can see on video the father attacking her and her boyfriend out in public. Now, this video is what bystanders saw from a bus near the daughter's school, and friends jumped in to try to rescue her. More now on the background of the case from Court TV's Ashley Wilcott.
Zahraa, تعال هنا.
So everything's audio video recorded, okay?
Okay.
Ihsan Ali and his wife, Zahraa Ali, are facing several charges, including attempted murder after allegedly attacking their daughter after she ran away from home. According to the police report, the 17-year-old told police her father had been threatening an honor killing if she didn't agree to an arranged marriage to an older man in Iraq. On October 18th, 2024, the family was scheduled to travel to Iraq. The teen left her home and ended up at Timberline High School.
Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
I want to speak with my wife.
The girl's parents found her on the school campus as she walked with her 16-year-old boyfriend to a bus stop. Witnesses say her father, Ihsan, punched her boyfriend and choked the girl for about a minute. Video obtained by Daily Mail is disturbing to watch. As the girl went in and out of consciousness, her boyfriend and bystanders fought, breaking her free and pinning down her father until the police arrived.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back now.
The girl's older sister was also there, but she faces no charges. The girl's mother, Zahraa Ali, allegedly tried to stop others from helping the girl and grabbed her by the neck as she ran from her father. Zahraa had been banned from the school campus about a month prior for allegedly trying to grab the girl's boyfriend. According to defense filings, the girl's story changed in later interviews with attorneys. She did not indicate that she was going to be forced to marry an older man when they got to Iraq. The state and defense will not mention an arranged marriage at trial. Zahraa Ali's bail is set at $500,000 and Ihsan's bail is $1 million. Both are still in custody.
Ashley Wilcott reporting. Their opening statements kick off at noon today. So what can we expect in day number one? Let's bring in our legal eagles now. So happy to have with me this morning attorneys Jennifer Brandt and Tommy Pope. Good morning to you both. All right, so I want to hear your thoughts on what you think each side needs to do for this jury when they open up today. Jennifer, let me begin with you, please.
Well, I think the prosecution is going to show, this video and have a bunch of witnesses who will be available to testify to what happened. I mean, we see that parents usually have a right to discipline their children, and we don't usually interfere with that. But here, I mean, it went way beyond reasonable discipline. He was grabbing her neck and attempting to choke her. And I think there'll be a variety of witnesses who will testify to that. On the defense side, they're probably going to say, look, he didn't want her dating this guy and he was trying to bring her home. It's a bit violent, so I don't know how well they're going to do with that. But I think they're going to try to assert that, it's a parent's right to discipline their child, even though this looks like it went way too far.
Exactly, Jennifer. Thank you. Tommy Pope, to you next, please. Tell us what you're looking for.
I did tell you, it's always hard getting a jury anyway, Julie, and now you've got the cultural issues, and I know the judge excluded the honor killing aspect, but I've had a couple trials over the years that would have some unique cultural aspect, and, the prosecutor does not have to prove motive in most states, and so, not showing why you it is not a problem, but the jury is always going to wonder. And so I agree, with the bare video with nothing to explain. I think not talking about honor killing and another thing really kind of hamstrings the defense.
Right, Tommy. Yes, thank you for that. Let's take another look at this fight. This video is from the Daily Mail, and a warning to all of our wonderful courties at home. This is tough to watch. Let's talk about how the prosecution may use this video. When do we think the jury may first see it? How might this be introduced? Tommy Pope, tapping into your experience as a former solicitor, the top guy in the office. How would you introduce this in this trial if you were leading the case?
I think I would use it early because I'll tell you, I don't see an explanation. I was watching. His intent is clear. The fact that one guy's punching him, it reminds me of the UFC fights. At some point the ref steps in and stops it. There's nobody to stop it there, but he wasn't letting go regardless. And I think, you get the jury, primacy and recency. I think you get the jury early, realizing how vicious it was, how intentional it was. And I'm not sure how the defense comes off of that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe even play it in the opening statement. What do you think? Maybe there. Jennifer Brandt, do you like that idea? Your thoughts on that?
Actually, I don't think so, because I'm watching the video alone without understanding sort of what's going on. You see him grabbing her and holding her on the ground, but you also see people punching him. So I almost would prefer to have some witnesses testify to what they saw, what they observed, and then show the video, because I think you get a better sense of what was going on after you kind of understand that people were jumping in. They can testify about, how he was restraining her and how she was going in and out of consciousness, allegedly, because you can't really see that from the video. You see him on top of her, and it looks violent, but you really don't know exactly what's going on. So I'd rather have some explanation first.
Fair enough. Trial advocacy is an art, not a science. Okay, let's look at another clip. This is where Dad is in the cruiser. Police detain him. They read him his rights. He refuses to answer.
Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
I want to speak with my wife. Let's go.
Do you understand these rights I've explained to you?
Zahraa!
It's a yes or a no.
Okay, that moment there. Tommy, you were a SLED agent too, once upon a time. His refusal to answer, how careful does the state need to be with that issue? Do you know where I'm going with it? Yeah.
Sure, Julie. You got to be very delicate with it. Obviously, from a Miranda standpoint and the right to remain silent. It's interesting to me, that part helps the defense. Again, since you can't talk about the arranged marriage, I'm not sure. And again, I was trying to read who had made that motion, but it doesn't show his intent. You can tell he's focused. He doesn't care that he's in the back of a patrol car. He doesn't care about giving statements. He wants to speak to his wife. Because I think they're focused on a mission. And, I was trying to read up a little bit, the honor to the family, is really more important than the life of your child. And it looks to me, facially, he and his wife came there with a mission, and he wants to communicate to her only. He's not worried about his guilt or innocence or trying to get out of anything. He wants to complete the mission, is what it appears to me.
All right, Tommy, thank you. Now, we know this child is a minor. Jennifer Brandt, you practice family law. What do you think might be going on in another court right now?
Oh, yeah. Well, she's a minor, and they're not going to have custody of her. I think that's going to be a real, issue. And who is going to take custody of this child? I mean, she's a teenager. She was 16 at the time. She may be even an adult by this point. But there's a sister who seemed to be somewhat involved. She was there at the scene, and we don't know about other relatives and whether that would even be appropriate for her, because given the cultural situation, what these parents seem to be intending to do, would it be safe to put her with any relatives who may be in the U.S.? I'm not so sure about that. So where she's going to be is really a question, if it's even a consideration at this point.
It's so sad. Jennifer, thank you for that. You both are staying with us throughout the hour. We appreciate it. Go refill your coffee. Friends at home, do the same. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, we're turning our attention to South Carolina 10 years later. Still, we're pushing for answers in Stephen Smith's unsolved homicide. His family's attorney is joining us live on the other side of the break. Plus,
Timothy wasn't surrounded by people who loved him when he died. And if I had known that, nothing could have stopped me from rescuing him.
There is something broken in you. I'm not going to let you hide in the darkness anymore. People know what you are now. They know what you did. It's a sentence of the court. You serve a term within the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life without parole.
Will convicted killer Sha De Vanderarch get a new trial? That's what she's pushing for. We're so pleased to have on the program this morning the prosecutor from her case. Matt Roberts will join us live in our spotlight.
The Court TV podcast will return.
Somebody was there. It was more than one person that done this. And somebody knows.
Yeah.
And they set him up on that road to make it look like a hit and run. I was so happy when they reopened the case, and that gave me hope, and he wasn't under the rock anymore. And with all this stuff going on, you know, he gets more attention now. But we really don't want the attention. We just want the answers.
That's Sandy Smith right there, Stephen Smith's mother. Her refusal to give up hope is what's trending in true crime this morning. The body of 19-year-old Stephen Smith was found on the side of a rural road in Hampton County, South Carolina, back in July of 2015. His death was initially thought to be an accident, a hit-and-run situation. But then later, in 2021, after receiving some evidence during the Murdaugh murders investigation, SLED reopened this investigation and said that they believe it's a homicide. Now, on Saturday, Walking with Stephen was held as the teenager's family continues seeking answers surrounding his tragic and unsolved death. Now, despite several new developments over the past few years, nothing has yielded any answers. So this morning, we're wondering, how encouraged is the family this morning, and what comes next in this investigation? We're so pleased to have on the show, friend of the network, the attorney for the Smith family, Eric Bland. Eric, good morning to you. I know you were there. Your beautiful wife, Renee, was there at that run walk. What was it like? Take us there. Let's start there first, please.
It was just a beautiful event. There was really no acrimony, no recrimination. It was just about love and just to make sure that, you know, the fact that Stephen's death hasn't been explained, and we just wanted to make sure that the public was aware of it. Over 125 people showed up. There was about 60 to 70 walkers. They came from as far away as Pennsylvania. The law enforcement presence was incredible from both SLED and the Hampton County Sheriff's Office. Everybody felt safe walking, and they participated all along the way. You know, our focus is just to make sure that the public is aware that this potential crime has not been solved. It was the 10th anniversary of Stephen's death, and we want to make sure that the public knows that there's a $50,000 reward for information leading to what was the cause of Stephen's death. We're encouraged by the fact that SLED has assigned a new officer to Stephen's case, but by the same time, we are slightly getting discouraged because we really believe that people would come forward with information. Based on my discussions with SLED over a year ago, they believed that there was 5 or 6 people that had information regarding Stephen's death. And, you know, I said any fact can lead to a fact. So even if you think you have information, it may not be on point with the day that Stephen died, but was a fact that was something that happened a month before he died. They all can be linked together. And so we just want people to come forward. We will make sure they're protected. There's a hotline to SLED on Crime Stoppers. And, you know, Sandy deserves to find out what happened to her son.
Yes, she sure does, Eric. She sure does. How was she doing on Saturday?
She spoke, and she's a very quiet, introspective individual, but she has grown. As I said when I spoke to the group, she has grown so much during this process. This woman will not stop until she finds out. And it's one thing when you lose your child at an age, such a young age, at 19 years old, but it's a completely another situation when you don't even know what happened to your child when he died. So she carries that double burden, and she will not stop. And my hope is that SLED will be able to find out what happened to Stephen. I mean, it's inconceivable to me, Julie. I mean, that in this day and age of post-crime analysis, that they cannot find out what happened to Stephen. And people need to come forward. You know, evil prevails if good people stay silent.
You're so right, Eric. And I love what you said about how a fact can lead to another fact. I love that. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna give you credit for it when I do. But I love that because it's so true. You may not think you know something that's valuable to solving the case, but it, like you said, it could lead to something else that gets you there through the next fact and the next fact.
Right.
And so I can appreciate, I think a lot of people can, how, you know, there was a lot of reluctance for anybody to speak up a long time ago, but we're in a very different time now. We're 10 years out. We know that information came up that made SLED recharacterize this case from an accidental death to an intentional homicide is essentially
Homicide.
what they're saying. Yeah. And so, but they didn't go any further than that. Eric, did you think that once the Murdaugh murders case was disposed of, that maybe this one would then open up and we would start hearing more information?
I did, and I do. Although I'm finding that I'm not holding that belief as strong as I once did. I really thought that the stranglehold that the Murdaughs had in Hampton County would lessen, and that the cone of silence that they made sure that existed regarding their family members would stop. And I'm not saying there's a connection between the Murdaughs and Stephen Smith. I just felt that once Alex was disposed of, as you said, through the justice system, and we had Russell Lafitte and a whole bunch of others, Corey Fleming, that people would say, okay, this is a new age, it's a new time, and let's just come forward, solve all these unsolved deaths. You know, there were 5 deaths surrounding Alex Murdaugh at one time or another. You know, Stephen, because of he knew his sons. Gloria Satterfield, you had Maggie and Paul, and Mallory Beach. I mean, 5 deaths in front of one family is a lot. So we thought that this would be the last cog that, you know, Hampton County could get a clean start. And so really this is the last unsolved death in Hampton County that people are focusing on.
And I'm so glad that they still are. All of our courties are very interested in this case and justice for Stephen Smith. And thank you for coming on and always giving us the updates. And the family's so fortunate to have you, Eric. You're such a tremendous advocate for them. We'll talk again about this case. I promise you, we'll keep talking. Let Sandy know we all send our love. And congratulations again on the success of your book, Eric, as well. Anything But Bland. When we come back, we're going to have much more for you. But as we head to break, I want to just take a moment, to share our love for Stephen Smith. As the questions still linger, we're standing with his family's quest for justice. We are a voice for victims here on this show. You know that, my friends at home. And even after a decade, there need to be answers. There needs to be answers here. We want to remember him. His life mattered. We send our love to his family, and we sure hope that as we continue talking about it here on the program, that those answers will come and this case will eventually be solved. We'll be right back.
Now, back to the Court TV podcast.
You testified that you gave Timothy a warm bath the night before he passed away, that last night, July 5th. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
This is hours before he dies, right?
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub?
Vanderarch, do we have trash. I did. I paid some trash. You did? Yeah, I see. Would you like the jury removed? Right. Please rise.
I know you remember that moment. That really was the moment from the tortured son murder trial, the cross-examination of convicted killer Sha De Vanderarch. And now this woman wants a new trial. So we're shining a spotlight on the upcoming hearing and the victim in the case. So on July 25th, this defendant is going to be back in court to make her request for a new trial in front of the judge. Now, she was already sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the death of her son Timothy back in 2022. This is Timothy. He was 15 at the time of his death. He was 5'8" and weighed only 69 pounds at autopsy. 69 pounds. 15. Now, according to testimony from his brother Paul, Timothy was routinely handcuffed, forced to eat hot sauce, and also forced to sleep in a closet.
That's the picture I want people to remember of your son. You took that from him. You took it from him. For what reason, I don't know. Mr. Johnson's right. There is something broken in you. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't negate what you did here. So besides remembering him like that, I'm not going to let you hide in the darkness anymore. People know what you are now. They know what you did. You're not able to hide in the darkness anymore.
It's the voice of attorney Matt Roberts fighting the good fight. He was the one who led the prosecution of this case. And he's going to be the one back in court as Sha De Vanderarch is trying to get a new trial. She's claiming she was in a catatonic state. She's claiming she was incompetent to stand trial at the time. And guess what? We're bringing Matt Roberts on the show this morning right now. He is the chief trial attorney in Muskegon County, Michigan. And since this trial, since we got to see him in action try that case so brilliantly, we've had him on many times. He's become one of our favorite legal analyst guests. Matt, thank you for making time on this this morning. We all had a feeling she'd be back. Did you have a feeling that she'd be continuing to fight this?
Well, good morning, Julie. It's great to be here again. Yes, certainly we had an expectation that there would be at some point an appeal filed, and this motion for new trial is not uncommon. It happens in most cases where there are trials, and it's certainly a step that we expected. Took a little bit longer than we expected. There was some difficulty apparently with the appointment of appellate counsel and some disagreements about how to proceed with the appeal, but not unexpected, certainly.
No, Matt, when she says things like she was incompetent to stand trial, I want to know what because there's so much I could say, but we want to hear from you. When you were up there close and personal with her, doing that fantastic cross-examination where she, appears to get sick, don't know if she actually got sick or what exactly happened there. But our viewers were loving the fierce cross-examination that you did, getting justice for this precious boy. Did you see incompetency from her?
Certainly not, and it really gets back to what our central theme of our response to this motion is that she would pick and choose the moments where she believed that she was incompetent. It's a theme that really ran throughout the trial. It ran throughout the evaluation for whether or not she was criminally responsible, insanity defense, if you will, and it certainly showed itself in the cross-examination there, where every time I would ask her about one of the punishments or one of the difficult portions, she would say, "Oh, well, I don't remember that," and that's a theme that she would constantly go to. And in fact, even in her own evaluation by her own doctor that we're aware of, Dr. King, sort of the same thing, that this idea that she could just selectively pick out what parts she remembers and what she doesn't remember just does not line up with any diagnosable or any recognized mental illness that she was suffering from.
Right, Matt. To me, she's diabolical. The behavior, it's diabolical. I see her pathology. I look at her. She's a lawyer, for anybody who forgot that fun fact. She's a lawyer by profession. So this is not a stupid woman. This is somebody, to me, that I think is trying to find any way she can to remove herself from being responsible for what she did and what she directed her son Paul to do. Matt, let's take a look at that. He was one of your testifying witnesses, but also a defendant because he behaved badly here too at her direction. Let's listen to what he said about the hot sauce and poor Timothy.
Do you recall while Timothy was in the tub, an exchange where your mother inquired about pouring hot sauce on his private parts?
I do, yes.
Did you do that?
No. That was beyond rule, as everything else was.
My gosh. Matt, we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth a mention again. In terms of what you've seen over the years, you've had an illustrious career and prosecuted many child abuse cases. Where does this one stack up in terms of severity toward the others?
Well, this one is by far the worst case, and in fact, most of the people that have seen this case or touched this case would all say the same thing. The level of depravity here, it's just unfathomable. And that example that you just pointed there, the Paul testifying about the remark about pouring hot sauce on privates, every time in this case we thought we had hit a new low, we'd find a new low. And the hot sauce on the privates was another one. The fact that she would even contemplate that. Now, thankfully, that appears to have not happened. And I think Paul was even the voice of reason there. But just the idea that somebody would even contemplate that just shows, again, that level of depravity that is just unconscionable and unfathomable.
It really is. We've got some text messages between Paul and defendant Sha De Vanderarch, and these were read out loud in court, and this was talking about feeding Timothy. Let's take a listen to this moment now.
What the heck has he been doing?
According to him, he's just been setting. I don't know, though. I didn't know he was awake.
Find out what he has snuck right the heck now, because I know he has snuck stuff since you weren't doing what you were supposed to. Tell him he just restarted his not eating again.
If he stops many more, let me handle him, please.
No.
Wall sits.
Push him until it looks like he's about to fall over, please.
Oh my gosh, it's sickening. Matt, God bless you for doing the work you do, because it is hard to be a prosecutor, and it's even harder to handle child abuse cases. It takes a really special person to do that kind of work, and thank goodness you do. Tell us, please, what we can expect when she comes to court next week. July 25th is the date. How's this going to go?
Well, we obviously will be making our arguments here. The defense's argument rests largely on this competency issue, the fact that she, in our view, chose to not return to court, and just kind of sort of play into that theme of, well, I'm not competent, I don't understand what's going on, I can't participate in those things. It just is really not supported by the record. It's not supported by any doctor, and any claim that another doctor might have reached another conclusion is just foolish, because the defense had multiple opportunities to present a doctor that would say that she actually suffered from a condition. So that's the main crux of the argument. I don't anticipate the judge will have a difficulty ruling on this case, but obviously we'll have to wait and see and make our arguments. But we'll be very vociferous in our objection to this motion for a new trial here. I think this issue has been well litigated, and we believe that the conviction is certainly solid here, and that will be our position to the court.
Yes, I would agree with you 100%, Matt. Looking back at that moment, we were just playing it while you were talking about what's coming up in this hearing, and you see her seeming like she's getting ill there, and all I keep thinking about is, you know, she saw her child. She got ill there when you were showing her the autopsy photo, and you did that great cross and making her look at that. She was looking at her son every day of her life, you know, and so it's a shame she didn't get sick like this sooner, isn't it, Matt? It's a shame she didn't get sick before that poor angel was starved to be 69 pounds. I look at this video, it is infuriating to me. What goes through your mind, and what emotions do you have when you see this tape rolled back now?
Well, certainly looking back on it, I agree with you. It is infuriating. It's clearly just a ploy, and even talking to the jury, the ones who could see her, certainly even better than I could see her because of their position in the courtroom, had no belief that that was a real moment, that she was actually getting sick. In the moment, I just wanted to get away from there. I didn't know exactly what was taking place, but yes, looking back, it's clearly orchestrated. It's an effort on her part to drum up some sympathy, but the most important part about that is that she had seen those photographs, those exact photographs, less than a week before that, and had absolutely no reaction. So that just tells you everything you need to know right there.
Exactly. Pants on fire. And thank you for sharing that with us, Matt, because we could assume she'd be looking at the discovery, seeing the photos, and that was all her trying to win the Academy Award there in the courtroom. Didn't work. You picked a great jury. They saw right through that. Matt Roberts, you're the best. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. We'll let you get off to court. Take good care. When we come back after this break, here's what's coming up on Opening Statements.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in a cage and we were playing. I'm the blue-eyed white dragon, that's what they call me.
The blue-eyed white dragon is back in court. Apparently, she's beefing with her latest attorney. Are you surprised? We'll talk about what's tipping the scales of justice.
This is the Court TV Podcast.
Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up.
This is a box. This is the box where George Torres was killed.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree.
We respect the jury's decision. I'm sure that Sarah Boone is going to want to appeal.
Might be hard to believe, my friends, but convicted killer Sarah Boone isn't happy. So what is it this time? According to Boone, her appellate attorney is ghosting her. Sarah Boone is serving a life sentence for murdering her boyfriend, George Torres. This happened in a suitcase. She zipped him up inside of a suitcase, beat the suitcase with a baseball bat, and left him in there to die. Now, back to her claim of ghosting. Perhaps it's relating to the fact that Boone has reportedly gone through at least 10 attorneys. So how is her formal inquiry of not hearing from her appellate attorney going to tip the scales of justice with her appeal? She's got to file it soon. We know that. Let's bring in our legal eagles, Jennifer Brandt and Tommy Pope, on the show this morning. Okay, are we surprised here that she's having trouble with this lawyer? I see you both smiling. Tommy, start us off. Your thoughts, please.
She's the gift that keeps on giving, Julie. I think... it's ironic. We've seen, and not the stereotype, but we've seen a number of cases where it's like the defendant loves, and it's been female defendants that come to my mind that love the attention. They don't care what's going on in court. They're going down in flames, but they like being there. And I think her being dissatisfied is part of her way of getting attention. Appellate process takes time. There's a lot of paperwork to be filed. But by her being dissatisfied, she gets to be the center instead of the process being the center. And I think that's what we've seen her do from the beginning. I think that's why we were all laughing. But nothing surprises me with her. She needs to just go to prison and be quiet and stay there.
Right, Tommy. I know. Just go have a seat somewhere. But she, we'll keep hearing from her. I remember saying one of my predictions for 2025 was, we're going to keep hearing from Sarah Boone. So, got that one right. Jennifer Brandt, your thoughts on this lady?
Well, she's complaining again about her lawyer. We're not surprised about that because we've heard it 9 or 10 times already. But, the appellate process does have very strict deadlines. So, if her lawyer is really not meeting those deadlines, it could jeopardize her appeal. I understand that she has already gotten an extension to file her appeal until September 1st. So, her lawyer does need to get on it. And, knowing Sarah Boone, she's not going to let anything slip. So her lawyer or any future lawyer will be prepared to hear from her. The judge, she wrote a letter to the judge after the trial. I mean, she's not going to sit quietly and let the process pass her by.
Jen, you're so right. I like what you said about how she won't let anything slip. You know, think about it for a second. What would it be like being her attorney? I mean, like, what would, I mean, like, you're both shaking your heads, like, would you ever take on that case? My gosh. Jen, what do you think it would be like working with her?
I can't imagine. She is probably a very, very difficult client who is very demanding for sure and is not happy with anything that anybody does for her. She's one of those people that just wants to put the blame on everybody else. We heard it during her trial. You know, it's never going to be her fault. So being her attorney would just be a total nightmare. That's for sure.
Definitely. I feel so bad for all those lawyers. I think they should all get medals for tolerating her. Tommy Pope, what would you think it would be like working with Sarah Boone?
Well, I was thinking it could be entertaining. I was going to say, though, as far as her future lawyers, some are probably taking the LSAT right now, or just now taking the bar exam. You know, they're in line to be lawyers one day. You know, if you didn't actually have to do the work, it could be entertaining, because I would just agree with every complaint and everybody's doing you wrong. She'd love me because if you didn't have to do the job. The problem is maybe the reason the appellate lawyer's ghosting her is because they need to do the work. Just like Jennifer said, you got deadlines, there's pressure there. And to hear Sarah, well, I want to read the last draft that you did. How about let me get it done and then you can take a look at it? But, her meddling, it'd be difficult.
Oh, yeah. I've tried to imagine. Yeah, entertaining, yes. And I've tried to imagine. I feel like the documentation would have to be next level if you're the lawyer, because, like Jennifer said, it's every little thing with her, and she's always finding fault with someone, something, like you said, Tom, she wants to put the attention, everywhere else, but on her, she distracts with her issues and coming up with things and doesn't want to take accountability for killing George Torres, her boyfriend. So I feel like you'd have to just really just cover your tail if you were that lawyer, like everything you tell her and what she says back, because oh my, yeah, she's just, we've seen the viciousness come out with Sarah Boone. So what do we think is going to happen on appeal? Let's turn to that for a moment. Quick thoughts from you both. Jennifer, let me begin with you. Do you think this is going to go well for Ms. Boone?
I really don't. I mean, I think it was a rock solid case. I really just don't see how she's going to get out of this on any kind of error or anything that, may have been done wrong. I know she's complaining about her attorneys, that they did her wrong. I mean, everybody did her wrong, but bottom line, I mean, we heard the evidence and it was pretty strong. So I really don't think, I understand why she wants to appeal, but I don't think that the outcome is going to change for her.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tommy, what do you think? You think she's got a prayer?
Yeah. No, I agree with Jennifer. I think, and she's lost credibility. So when you have these kind of discretionary decisions, where the court will look a little deeper, I don't think, she's lost credibility. So something that might normally give a harder look, I think you're going to say, well, the defendant themselves orchestrated some of this by their conduct in court or things of that nature. And, the judge was mean to me or whatever. So I agree with Jennifer. I think it's part of our system, but I don't think it's going anywhere.
I'll make it 3 for 3. She's staying in prison. That's what I think. My next prediction with Sarah Boone. We'll be covering this hearing, whatever it happens.
Julie. Like Nostradamus, Julie.
That's for Julie. I love it. That's all for this episode of Opening Statements, my friends. I'm your host, Julie Grant, and it's been great being with you. On this show, I am calling out any pants on fire moments in our big trials and true crime stories, and I want you to come along with me. Opening Statements is live every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern on Court TV. Thank you for downloading this episode. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. You can watch past shows anytime you like on CourtTV.com.